Hey everybody, just getting started. Give me one moment to make sure everyone's streaming. All right, we got Instagram is up, and it looks like Smoothie Shred's working. Awesome. Hey everybody, it's Dr. Brooke Goldner, and I'm here live with you because it's Wednesday. And Wellness Wednesday, I've been doing this for quite some time now. It's been, I think, a couple of years coming on Wednesdays to try to give extra coaching and help and support to all of you out there who maybe can't meet with me any other way. So I can help you with your health, your mindset, your diet, generally good advice. It can't substitute for medical advice, so definitely talk to your doctor before making any big changes in your diet or lifestyle that you think can affect things like your medication. Wow, okay, so StreamYard's got a new thing now where they're letting me do vertical and Instagram, and you guys are getting the closest of close-ups, so happy to you. You can see me, I'm super close. Hi, Instagram and YouTube, Facebook, and everybody else. So today, I don't know how many of you are here in Houston. I was live today with Maggie Fleckno. She has me coming back every month now to help people out. So we're chatting today about health and the holidays, which of course is a big topic for me. But it also got us chatting a bit about something that maybe I can help with even more. And that is FOMO. How many of you know what FOMO is? It's a slang expression, at least here in the States, and it's short for fear of missing out. So how many of you can comment wherever you are on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, how many of you are trying to eat healthy, you're trying to do better, but you're really afraid of missing out? Like, I'm going to miss out on that pumpkin pie. I'm going to miss out on all the drinking. I'm going to, that somehow my life will not be as good, and I'm afraid of missing out. How many of you, is that like one of the biggest problems that you're facing that's affecting your ability to really get healthy? I'm curious to see how much of that's an issue, because I find working with people nowadays, I spend my whole day when I'm not working in my rapid recovery group, I'm talking to people on Zoom for their wellness appointments, and we spend 75 minutes or more together, depending. And for a lot of folks, they are so sick. They are on the brink of dialysis. They're on the brink of, needing a transplant, lungs or hearts failing, or so many awful, terrifying things. And then when it comes down to it, and go, okay, you know what? We can help these things. You can get better. Let's get really strict about your diet. And then suddenly they'll get these emotional responses that somehow, by doing what it takes to get their health back, they're going to be missing out on the good parts of life. All right. So, of course, I give a lot of coaching on this. So if people have personal issues and reasons, I'm always here to help. But I see it an issue. Let's see how if any of you are agreeing that you've seen this before, or you felt this before, because this is a big one that people really, really have. Okay, so your sugar bums, you're saying, yep, food FOMO is my issue. Oh my God, Claudine, you got cut for holidays for ruining holidays. Oh, that is awful. But Manku Mama's like, no, I'm just making a vegan dish. I'm taking to Thanksgiving for my husband and me. Yep, absolutely. It's something. That's a straight mind. You're like, I'm not missing out on junk. I'm not amused by it. That's the place you want to get to. So I bring this up because what we're talking about is really an emotional response, and it mostly comes out of addiction. You're addicted to the highs of this junk. You are addicted to that feeling you get when you're eating the saturated fat and the sugar, and then you pour some alcohol on top, and the high that you get, you're just, buzzing, right? And your brain starts to look forward to that. Just like a drug addict looks forward to Friday night at the club where they know they're going to get a hit. Your brain is wired that way too, and it starts looking forward to those things. So much so, it will tune out the truth about how negative it is and how much it's hurting you. It'll tune that out, right? Just like an alcoholic or drug addict who's looking forward to getting high. They've decided, I'm getting high, I'm going to do this. They're not thinking about the hangover. They're not thinking about that they're spending their rent money that they should be saving or their food money. They're not thinking about letting down their friends and family. They're just thinking about the high and they're blocking the rest out. So if you're doing that about your diet, that is addictive behavior. And I worked in addiction for a long time. So I see the parallel, the same exact behavior as I'm so busy thinking about the high that I think I'm going to miss out on, that I'm missing the fact of how destructive it's going to be. Because truly, when you think about missing out, that happens more when you're sick, right? I almost missed my prom because I was in the hospital. My prom date came every morning to visit me in the hospital before school. Like, come on, you leaving soon? You leaving soon? He used to say I dance like MTV. He's like, I want to see your MTV moves. You got to get out of the hospital, right? Missing out is being too sick to go to somebody's house for the holidays. Missing out is being on dialysis 3 days a week. Missing out is having a fatal heart attack and dying and missing out on every other holiday. I'll be talking about this a lot now. We're heading into the most fatal heart attack season of the year. So that's what real missing out is. You can have an amazing holiday season without eating things that make you sick. You absolutely can. I know it because I do it. I know it because there's other people here who are doing it too, right? That real missing out is the illness, right? So just like the person who's an alcoholic, missing out is no longer being invited to family events because you get so drunk that people don't want you there, right? So we have to really work with that addicted brain that's being irrational and get realistic about what's actually going on, which is you're choosing addiction and getting high of your own life. And so, yes, in the beginning, you can have some cravings, but then it becomes a new way of living and being. Those cravings don't stay forever. Yeah, Monica, I see you're trying to plan, like, what do we do for Thanksgiving? For a lot of folks, this is an issue. Fruity Pants McNuts. That's a great name. Definitely get FOMO. Yeah. Natalia, FOMO is real. See, I think of it this way. If you are afraid of missing it, you probably already had it, right? You've already had all of that junk. You've already had the sugar. You've already had the oil. You've already had the turkey and all that kind of stuff. You've had it. So you haven't missed it. But what you are missing out on, optimal health, longevity, feeling amazing. These are things that you're missing out on. And they are so much better than that temporary high. So much. So there are so many ways that we can really enjoy the holidays and our life on a higher level without these things. I'll give you an example. I've had so many people tell me, I'm afraid that I can't go on date nights if let's say I'm on the Goodbye Lupus protocol, I'm trying to reverse autoimmune disease, but I want to go on dates, which I highly recommend. Go on dates, have fun. This is the whole point, is to live your life. And they'll say, but I can't go on a date night if I'm eating salad and raw foods. And I'm like, why not? Of course you can. So there's multiple ways to play this. One, if you really want to go out to eat somewhere, you go somewhere where they make amazing salad, or you call the chef and make sure they do it for you. But I have found the most wonderful dates have nothing to do with eating. I think people are missing out if they think the only fun thing to do on a date night is go to a restaurant or a bar. Then I say you are missing out. You are missing out. My husband and I have amazing date nights. We love our date night time. We have so many things that we do for our dates. On a daily basis, almost every day, we have our golf cart time. So my husband fixed the golf cart up himself. He refurbished this whole thing from scratch. He redid the seats. He he put in all the systems, like it has turn signals and all this. He redid the roof. Like he completely redid this thing. It is so cute. And he takes me on a little ride every day after work so we can talk about our day. That is so romantic to me. Just the two of us, wind in our hair, talking about our day. It is so fun. And we just go up and down all the streets in our neighborhood every day, same streets. Somebody, my neighbor actually said he thinks of us like we work for the HOA or like the neighborhood watch. He goes, what are you guys doing? Why are you always riding that cart around? Like, it's our romantic date time. We absolutely love doing it. And there's no food or alcohol involved. We're just the two of us, just enjoying each other's company. We will have a huge salad and then go to a concert. We went to a comedy show last weekend. We saw John Mulaney, who is a famous comedian he used to be a writer for Saturday Night Live, and he was in Houston. And we got tickets last minute, day before. There were some last minute tickets up for sale where they were trying to like clearance them out. Because we weren't going to go. I was like, whoa, those are expensive tickets. Well, day before the show, guess what? They started marking that stuff down, grabbed the tickets. We had an amazing date night, holding the hands, laughing, and enjoying ourselves. There are so many amazing ways to have dates that have nothing to do with food, nothing to do with it, that will give you a greater connection to your partner than you would ever have sharing a bread bowl and butter and some pasta or steak. So I think if you are limiting your dates to sitting at a table with them eating something junky, then you're missing out. Because once you start getting creative, you can have so much more fun. Same with the holidays. My husband was just meeting with someone, I think it was yesterday, and she decided for Thanksgiving, she's going to make only recipes out of this book. This just happened to be on my desk because I was at the news show today. It's not usually right here. But she's making all of her Thanksgiving recipes out of Goodbye Lupus Hello Delicious. So appetizers, main courses, desserts. And she invited everybody, come and experience an actual healing Thanksgiving with me. And she has people who are coming to her house and they're going to eat raw foods and have fun together. We've had Thanksgiving parties where we invite people from our neighborhood and we'll tell them, hey, it's all plant-based, and we tell them, stipulations, or just come and enjoy. And while we have the food, and they're always come because they're interested and curious what we're eating, but then we have karaoke, we have games, we have so much fun just hanging out with people. It's about the quality time. So if you're trying to think of what to do for Thanksgiving, how can you enjoy it best? That's what matters most. So for some of you, I'm seeing, I'm taking my own food and I'm just going to enjoy myself and eat my food. Fantastic. If you feel like you have too much cravings for that, or you don't want to be around it, then don't go for the meal. Have the Thanksgiving meal at home and either show up later to hang out or visit everybody over the weekend. And maybe you all go on a hike together so you can do something healthy that's not food focused. So I encourage you to not miss out on how rich and fun life can be by focusing only on the foods that basically are drugs. I say they're food like drugs, focusing on missing the high of intoxication on a drug, and instead focus on true connection, true fun, true camaraderie, true laughter, and real connection with people that you wouldn't get if you were all just shoving stuff in your face, unbuttoning your pants, and watching a game on TV. I challenge you to not miss out on how good life can be when you're healthy, because there's nothing like it. Having lupus for 12 years, I missed a lot. I lost some friendships because I didn't tell everybody that I had lupus. There were just a handful of people who knew. And I just stopped hanging out as much. They didn't know I wasn't hanging out because I would get my chemotherapy treatments on Fridays so I could minimize how much school I missed. So I went from someone who hung out all the time to someone who didn't. And people thought that, I just didn't like them anymore. I missed out when I was sick. And now, that was me at 16 through 18 at high school. And then beyond that, missing out on going to the beach, missing out on being in the sun in any way, missing out on some late nights because I had to get more sleep. There was so much missing out that happened when I was sick. I didn't focus on it because I was just glad to be alive, but there was definitely some missing out. And now here I am 30 years later. I'm staring down 50. I'm about to be 49 in a few months. And I don't have any health problems at all. And I can do anything. I can go to comedy shows. I can work out. I work out hard. I'm lifting, I'm running, I'm doing all these things that I couldn't do before. I'm healthier in my late 40s than I ever was in my teens and 20s. I was missing out then. I'm not missing out now because I'm having a green smoothie. I'm not missing out. So I really encourage you to start changing how you're letting yourself think about these things. Truly allow yourself to push the addiction aside, push the noise of the addicted brain aside, and start thinking more clearly about what you don't want to miss. Is it that you don't want to miss pumpkin pie? Or do you not want to miss being able to hike through Europe Do you not want to miss being able to run after your grandkids? Do you not want to miss being able to age and feel good instead of going through disability? Like, what is it you really don't want to miss? And that's your why, by the way. In my book, Goodbye Autoimmune Disease, I teach about your why. And those of you in my rapid recovery group, you know you've been working on your assignment to really start to express that why in a way that means something to you. What is it that you really, truly don't want to miss? That is what will push you through these addictive thoughts of what FOMO is, that the addictive thoughts that somehow by not eating what other people eat, that's real missing out. It's not. It's not. The real missing out comes from not letting yourself have the food that will let you heal and be well. So I just want to bring that up because I see it a lot, and I see in people, yep, other people, food FOMO is my only FOMO. Yeah, but the thing is, when you realize it's not food, it's drugs, it can start changing things for you, because it really, that is the truth of it, is it's not really food. Food is supposed to nourish us, right? Not kill us. So if it's killing us, is that really food or is it something else? I think it's a really important thing to realize, right? And it's kind of one of the examples that I like to give is if, let's say, your favorite dessert was a raisin cookie, let's just say it was. And then one day I told you, hey, those aren't raisins, those are roaches. And you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna throw up. Well, would you still miss those cookies, or would you be like, you know what, thank God I found out the truth, so I never eat those roach cookies again? Start thinking about it that way. It's not food. I'm not missing out on food. I'm missing out on illness. And what happens is this starts to change. I can tell you, having been eating this way for decades, I don't feel bad that I can't eat what other people can. I've been lupus free for 20 years. If I wanted to eat some meat or dairy or processed junk, I absolutely can, and I'm not gonna have lupus tomorrow. It would take me a while to really abuse myself back into illness. It's not that I can't, I don't want to. I actually feel bad for people who are eating it. And that's been the biggest change that has made this so easy, is that when I see people eating badly, I feel bad for them, not me, because I know what's happening to them. That they're smiling and laughing, and on the inside, their body's forming cancers, forming blockages in their arteries, their guts are being destroyed, their immune system's being destroyed, they are building up disease that could manifest at any moment, or I already know that they're sick, I know they have high blood pressure or heart disease, and I feel upset for them because they think they're having fun and they're just getting high in a drug that's killing them. And so when you can get to that place, FOMO disappears. So you combine the knowledge that it's really a roach cookie, it's not food, it's a drug that's killing you, and then you make your life something that's so fun that it's so much better than whatever you could eat at a restaurant, that's when you stop missing out. So I hope that helps you think about it in a different way, because it's so important. How you think, everything you do, whether it's reversing your disease, succeeding at work or school, being able to eat well, exercise, everything that you do, it all has to run through this thing here. And when your mind is on board and healthy, the right thing becomes easy. But if your brain's getting in your way and you let it, you can be taken off track and convince yourself that it's okay. And so you've really got to work on this. And that's why so much of my work relies on it. And when I do Wellness Wednesdays, a lot of the feedback I get is, this is your favorite part, learning this. This is, people in my rapid recovery group, they're getting this kind of work every day. Really start looking at, how are you thinking about your life and your health? What thoughts do you have? How do you get in your own way? And once you get that out into your conscious mind, we can work on it, because if it's conscious, you can see it, and then you can start to fix it, right? But if it's unconscious, it's just happening without your help. So make sure that you're bringing these things to the surface and not just reacting to them like, oh, I don't want to miss out, I'll eat a little cake. But instead, oh, I'm feeling like I'm going to miss out. Let me think about this. Let me journal on it. Let me watch what Dr. G said again. Let me replay that and start working on those things so that you can change this. And when this is on board, it's easy. Everything becomes easy. And that's what I want for you. I want you to be healthy, and I want for it to become easy for you. All right, let's see what we've got going on for some questions today. All right, let's see. All right. Let's start over on what Instagram's doing today. So Instagram, you get the full close-up today with this new software that's giving you the vertical view. All right. Okay. So Noreen Goldner, oh, good last name. I'm 57, trying to build muscles and lose fat. What's your best advice like with protein? So if you're trying to build muscle and lose fat, one of my best advice I could give you is actually to use Thomas Tadlock's book. So you might have heard of Thomas Tadlock. He's my husband. And he's also the expert in metabolism, fat loss, and muscle building that came up with the original protocol that became the Goodbye Lupus protocol. Where is his book? There. It's called Miracle Metabolism by Thomas Tadlock. And in that book, he teaches you how to build a fast metabolism that will then allow you to build muscle or lose fat, depending on what your goal is. Okay. So now those don't happen the way you think. His book teaches in detail how to understand this. And I love it so much because he can explicate really complicated scientific ideas in a very simple way. That's something that both of us have always really liked to do, like bring it to the public in a way that's easy to understand. And you are either gaining weight or losing weight at any given moment. So this is a brief summary of some of the things he's teaching. So if you are trying to build muscle, you are gaining weight. If you are trying to lose fat, you are losing weight. So really you have to pick a primary goal. Are you focusing on losing fat as quickly as possible while trying to preserve muscle, or maybe like increase it a little bit? Or are you trying to build muscle as quickly as possible and you're okay with putting on some body fat while you do it because you're trying to get as big as possible, as quickly as possible? And once you get to the size you want, then you'll burn off the fat by switching to fat burning. So he does have some really cool tactics like zigzagging, which allows you to do both, where you take days that you work on your muscle building. So you're eating and working out for strength training and muscle building. And then on other days, you're eating and working out for fat loss, because it's different workouts and different foods for both different goals. And so that's really a great in between that you can do. But you want to really try to decide, am I trying to get bigger or am I trying to get smaller? Now, if you're not actually, when you say build muscles, if you don't actually mean get big size, but you just mean get stronger, well, you can get stronger while losing fat by doing the fat loss programs. And you can do that with fat loss and strength maintenance. You don't really need to worry about additional protein sources and everything like that. Your main goal is going to be fat loss, and you're going to be doing muscle training exercises to maintain strength. When you start to really have to load on the extra food and look more at macronutrients, that is when you're trying to force weight gain in terms of building muscle. But I really recommend you read his book because it shows you in detail, here's the best way to eat and exercise for fat loss. Here's the best way to eat and exercise for muscle building. And here's the zigzag approach if you're trying to do a bit of both. But if you're trying to focus on fat loss, the high nutrient vegetables, so definitely hypernourishment. Then you can add in cooked vegetables as well, and vegetable soups, things like that. Because again, this is just for physical. This isn't for aesthetics. We're not looking at disease reversal. If you can totally add things like tofu and edamame if you want. And then you have to do fat loss exercise. So I like things like interval training because it gives me both fat burning and strength training at the same time. Exercise is key. People always want to focus on the diet, but the exercise is the key. All right. So, and let's see, you're also saying best protein source for a vegan. There's protein in everything. So the advertising has been very successful by industries trying to make you think you need a product to supplement protein. You don't. You get protein from all the different foods you eat. But if you want something what has the highest protein of all the plant foods, if that's what you want to know, then definitely tofu, edamame, that has the highest protein, which it's made from the same thing. That has the highest protein of all all plant foods. It is very, very high. But you get protein from so many things. You really do. We've had professional athletes do rapid recovery with us using their cruciferous vegetables as their protein, and they get stronger and fitter and faster. Within 4 weeks, they're beating their own personal records. So we know they're getting what they need. Let's see here. And Torelli52, oh, glad you're enjoying it. Can this reduce plaque in our arteries? Yes, it's definitely great for your heart and heart disease. We've had very rapid reversal of even heart failure using our full raw Goodbye Lupus protocol. It's called that again because that was the name of the book where I taught the protocol. But it's really specific for cellular repair and cellular function and optimizing organ function across the board. Lake Tahoe, I'm still trying to make healthy food taste good. All right, well, my question would be, how are you trying? So is it that you just don't like how it tastes and you've kind of given up on it, or are you actively trying? Like in my recipe book, Goodbye Lupus, Hello Delicious, we have so many different recipes for dressings and dips. And I find if you find a dressing you like, you can pour that on everything and it's good. That's just, once I like a dressing, just like pour it on the whole thing. And there's so many good ones. So keep trying. Try different recipes for especially dips and dressings. That is usually the key to making everything really nice. All right, let's see. Oh, yay. I love when we see some really awesome celebrations because this is one of the best things is when you celebrate with each other so that everybody can get inspired, right? Because really, how do we know there's no FOMO? Because people aren't missing out on life the way they were once they are doing what they need to. So this is a celebration that's on Instagram. The food soup, I went to my ophthalmologist today, and for the first time in 30 years, my doctor said my eyes aren't dry. Been doing Goodbye Lupus protocol for only 1 month. I'm so happy. I was all smiles when I was told. And we have seen that result with many people. So I'm so excited for you. In 1 month, you've already reversed dry eye disease all by doing this protocol. So it is good for organs across the board. And it is so important. Let me see here. Okay. And let's come over and look at what the Facebook folks are saying over here. Pam Joseph, you're on YouTube. It says, how does a person know they're eating enough? I hear make sure you eat enough. Well, one is be full. I always find it amusing. And I always say to people when they go, what do I do if I finish my smoothie and I'm still hungry? I'm like, have more? Some things aren't complicated. So one thing to test is, are you full? Yes, if you're full, that's a good sign. Now, that said, some people have slow stomachs. They're not used to all the fiber. And so for them, they know that they have to push past, right? They can't even get the minimums of hypernourishment in. So make sure that you are, one way you know that you're eating enough actually is that you aren't getting like weaker in the gym, for example. Sometimes people will say, oh, I'm not feeling strong in the gym. I'm like, oh, that's because you're not eating enough to support the workout. So while someone who has just a normal kind of level of activity, maybe they go for a walk, go to the supermarket, not doing that much, they might eat, 30 ounces of vegetables a day or something and some fruit and other things, and they feel great. But someone who's going to the gym for a couple hours lifting heavy, they might have to do more than that. They might have to really get into those high nutrient vegetables and do like 40 ounces or who knows. We know by the strength level. So you want to make sure that you're eating enough that you have energy through the day. Sometimes I'll see people where they were used to eating like 3 meals a day. Well, and then they switch to eating a lot of raw foods, plant foods, and they go, gosh, I'm just hungry. I'm so hungry. And I have to tell them, well, that's because your old diet stuff was just putrefying and sitting in your gut and keeping you full for hours. But if you've ever noticed the difference between herbivores and carnivores, right? Herbivores, anytime you see an herbivore out in the wild, what are they doing? They're eating. They are snacking. They're chewing that lawn. They are eating all the time. Carnivores often only eat once a week. How do you know you're not a carnivore? I couldn't do that. I am of the snacking variety, personally. I'd rather have food coming in all day. So once you switch to the foods your body really needs and can easily digest, you'll find that you get hungry more often. So a lot of times people need to eat every 90 minutes to 2 hours to keep themselves feeling energized and good. And if they wait 3 to 4 hours, oh my God, I'm so tired and sluggish. So those are different ways that you can know. All right, let me try. I was trying to grab some Facebook. Let's see. All right. Let's see. I see some people giving each other feedback. Just remember that I don't have any assistants that are working in my feed. So if you see anyone giving you advice, it's a person out there in the world giving you their thoughts, but it's not coming from me, just so you know. Sometimes I agree when I look back and see them, and sometimes I don't. Let me see. Val, came on specifically to find out if I can use spinach in place of cruciferous in my smoothies. I like the taste so much better. I'm trying to go for sarcoidosis. Yes, you can use spinach in your smoothies. Try to add some cruciferous in your diet because there's some nutrients in cruciferous that aren't in spinach, but spinach is one of the highest nutrient vegetables out there. So you can totally use the spinach in your smoothies and maybe add in some kale or broccoli, cauliflower, watercress, Brussels sprouts, something in the cruciferous family to maybe your other salads and meals in the day. And yes, we've seen people have great recoveries using spinach in their smoothies. All right. See, there's something that I can, there's some really long essays. Let's see if I'm going to try to focus on the ones that I can read and answer more quickly here. Brooke Bloom wants to know, how do you, so now there's been a Goldner and a Brooke, and I don't know either of them. Fascinating. It's interesting what Wednesday today. Brooke Bloom wants to know, how do you cook to make your children want to eat vegan and beans when you're trying to convert from being an omnivore, especially teens? Okay, well, when you're trying to switch the diet of your family, it can be difficult at first. And I've had to do this with families where, especially one of the kids are sick and they really need to do this. And sometimes it's really because, you know, the parents found out the truth and they want to make their family healthier. So the first most important thing you can do is have the conversations with your family. A lot of times people they don't really talk to their kids. And they're just like, hey, this is how we're eating now. And the kids are like, I don't want to. And then there's this kind of fight. Communication is everything in relationships, whether it's a relationship with your partner or the relationship with your friend or the relationship with your kids. Having communication frequently every day is such an important part of a close relationship. And so you talk to them about what's important. You talk about the reasons that you're doing this and help them understand how important it is and help them realize that, you know, this is something that you're doing because you love them. It's that part of the message has to be there, that even though this is hard, and even though I already know that you're not going to like it, because, you know, it's my fault. I got you addicted to the wrong foods because I didn't know better. I thought these things were healthy and now I've learned better. And the most important lesson I want you to learn is that when you learn better, you do better, even when it's hard. So I'm trying really hard to do this because I love you too much to put you at risk for developing the diseases that are currently killing people all in our country and around the world. You know, the heart disease, diabetes, autoimmune diseases, cancers, all these things that don't have to be deadly the way they are, that people don't have to suffer that way if they eat better. And so I love you so much. I want to figure this out for our whole family so that we can grow old with you and not be sickly. So you don't have to take care of us when you want to be out there living your life. And because I want to protect you. So you start there. That's the most important thing. Before you get to the recipes, you got to get them on board. And you can even say, listen, I know you're going to have cravings. I'm going to have cravings, but we're going to work through it together because we're a family. And that's what family does. We go through the hardships together and we grow together. And I want to be a role model that shows that too. So that's the most important part. Then you can talk about what kind of things sound good to you. Let's Google together as a family. Let's all sit around the computer or let's all get on our phones and Google like the food you think you're going to miss the most and what you would like to find a new plant-based version of. So if your favorite food is meatloaf, then you're going to Google plant-based, oil-free meatloaf. And what you're going to find are things like lentil loaf or other things like that. If you're trying to eat raw food, you can literally do raw spaghetti and meatballs. You're going to find it. That's the cool thing about anyone who's changed their diet, especially plant-based people. what they like to do even more, I think, than eating the foods is blogging about it. So that's one way, right? You could show them a book like my book. You can go through and say, okay, look through this book and see if anything here seems interesting to you, right? And I'll make it. Or why don't we play on the weekends and we all practice making things, right? But let them be a part of choosing the recipes and even making the recipes, and make it into something that you do as a family, versus you don't get to have your favorite thing anymore, like being grounded. You don't want this to feel like a punishment. You want it to be something that's a gift you're giving them, and it's a learning lesson that is showing them how to be an effective adult, which is when you learn that there's a better way, then you've got to take that path, even though it's going to be hard. Because all the great things we have in life, all the really, really great things, they were hard. They weren't easy, right? It's like when people tell me, oh, it's not convenient to drink all this water. And I go, I've never said healing's convenient. I say it's possible and it's worth it. But I never say it's convenient, right? The things that are worth doing can be hard, but man, there's nothing more worth it. So that would be the real conversations I'd be having. There's tons of delicious foods you can have, plant-based, especially if you're looking into the cooked foods and not even the raw foods. There's just so much out there. But the conversations are key. All right. Oh, Val, I'm so glad you didn't get tempted at your get-together. So a lot of you are saying you were responding to my FOMO thing. Some of you are already at that point where you don't have the cravings anymore. And it does get there. For all of you still suffering from the FOMO, it gets better. You stop having those cravings once you get past it and you realize, oh, that stuff's awful. I don't want it. But it takes time to get there. All right, let's see here. Mainku Mama, thank you. Hi, Dr. G. Thanks for saving my life. You're welcome. Thank you for coming on and celebrating that. All right, let's see here. All right, let's go over into the YouTube side. AS, yes, that is correct. That you're only missing, so is hyper-nourishing a pound of greens, gallon of H2O, and omega-3. So the water is 96 ounces or more, unless you've got water limitations because of your medical conditions. So that one you have to test with make sure of if you have a medical condition that limits water. Omega-3s, if you're just having general health and trying to, maintain good health, a handful a day of flax or chia seeds. If you're trying to really change your health, we usually say half cup. Okay. Ansu, I tried to enroll for your rapid recovery group, but I got an error message. Am I doing something wrong? Text me. Let me write down your name so I know. But I believe you have my cell phone number, but I'll put it here. If you go to goodbyelupus.com and you go to the rapid recovery group, here, I'll check it right now. I do not believe there is an issue with it. I'm going to check it right now. So rapid recovery group. So our next rapid recovery group starts January 9th. All right. I'm going to click enroll now. And yeah, it's taking me to the right spot. Add to cart. Yeah, it's working. It's working. So what I would suggest is if you're struggling, change devices. Maybe go to a computer. If you're on a phone, maybe there's something like that. All right. Let's see here. Oh, Marjorie wrote, Dr. G, your voice was in my head yesterday. I had a craving for something not optimal to eat, and I heard you asking me if my health was worth a food high. I made the right choice. Thank you. Yes. That's my ultimate goal, is to let you hear my voice in your head so you don't even need me anymore. It's all downloaded, right? That's always my joke in my rapid recovery group, is if you can hear my voice and you've downloaded me, you're ready to go. Oh, that's awesome. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Raw Warrior, my sister has a lot of health issues, including gastroparesis. Would you be able to help her? Yes, I've actually helped people reverse gastroparesis. So absolutely, I'd be happy to. The question really is, does your sister want my help? Because a lot of times when someone's like asking for a friend, the friend's like, no, thanks. But if she's interested, absolutely. Yeah. All right, let's see. Monica, hi, Dr. G. My hubby and I are 3 weeks into your protocol and we have questions. All right. When can we reintroduce honey, nuts, dates, and beans into our diet? Thank you for everything. Well, that depends on your goals. So if you're trying to do the full Goodbye Autoimmune Disease protocol and you're eating the raw foods, you do what I call step down, which is stepping down from the more intensive protocol that's for rapid disease reversal, and you step down into a maintenance way of eating. You do that when you've achieved your results. So you didn't say what you are doing it for, but if you've achieved the result you want, then you can add back in nuts, beans, and dates. Honey and other sugars, I say that's maintenance mode, which is, very, very rare. And after you've been in remission from whatever the issue is for 6 months or more, unless you're not fighting a disease. Sometimes people will do my protocol just because they want to just level up their health and feel good. So that's up to you. But honey is pure sugar, and it's an animal product. So that one is up to you, but I would keep that in the rare category. Let me see here. Pam, 53-year-old female diagnosed with type 1 diabetes on July 25th. I've been on the Goodbye Lupus protocol for 8 weeks. Has anyone reversed type 1 that was caught early? Not yet. I would love to get the chance to do that. So if you jumped in immediately, it would be so cool to see if we can reverse the disease rapidly. Can you stop the damage and potentially even go back to not being diabetic anymore? So you should definitely, if you need any help, book something. You can book something with Thomas right away, and we can make sure you're doing everything correctly. That would be a really cool thing. Even with type 1, people lower their insulin needs for sure. We have a couple of people in our group right now that have to keep changing their machine that delivers their insulin because their blood sugars keeps getting stabilized at a lower and lower level. But it would be really cool to see if we can reverse this completely. We had someone in Smoothie Shred that celebrated reversing type 1.5 that she developed suddenly. So that's a good sign. But please tell us what your result is if you don't work with us directly. David and Teresa Spencer, store-bought guac okay on Goodbye Lupus? Yeah, as long as it doesn't have any weird ingredients. Every once in a while they'll put in some dairy or something, but if it's store-bought guac and it's just the normal guac ingredients, it's totally fine. Let's see here. Someone started a question. Okay, here we go. Raina wants to know, I want to go raw vegan, but I seem to get bloated and stomach pain when I do what you recommend. Yeah, the toughest part, so you know how I said the most difficult part about making sure you do the things you need to do for health is here. The most difficult part of digesting all the foods you need for your health is here, right? It's in the gut. So for some folks, their gut feels the best it's ever felt when they start eating this way. And for others whose guts are really slow and inflamed and used to the wrong diets, it's a bit of an issue. So you might need to experiment a bit. Without knowing you and what you're eating, it's hard for me to specifically tell you how to fix it. That's something that you could definitely get help with. Like I said, you can meet with Thomas right away. I know right now my rush appointments are booking out in the beginning of February, although we do have a rapid recovery group in January. But if you just need this one question answered, we have lots of little hacks we use with people. You might have to experiment, like doing green smoothies versus chewing the food, using flaxseed oil instead of using flax or chia seeds. That reduces the bloat a lot. So there's lots of little tricks you can do. Food spacing. Instead of eating big meals, have smaller meals spread out every couple hours. So there's a lot of different things you can do to help yourself with that. All right, let's see. Oh, Smoothie Shred is finally writing some things in. All right. Marianne wants to know, is your protocol help with POTS and Graves' disease? Absolutely. Yeah, we've had people reverse both of those in our rapid recovery groups. So absolutely. How many days a week should a person work out? Depends on your goals. It depends on your goals. I mean, I would say as many as you can. You should do some kind of activity that is moving your body every day. So it might be that you're doing strength training 3 to 4 days a week. And then on the other days, you're at least going on long walks, but you want to have some kind of activity really every day. But if you're trying to lose fat, for example, then you want to have 5 to 7 hours of high intensity exercise a week to burn that fat off. If you're already in a condition that you like to be in, you can maintain that with half that. So it really depends what your goal is, but really moving every day is super important. And Emily's saying, whenever I've let myself have ultra processed foods, vegan ultra processed foods, I find they don't even taste good anymore, and they definitely don't make you feel good. So not even the FOMO temptation. That's good. Seth wants to know, is there any concerns with hypernourishment in avocados and too much potassium? Yes, if you have kidney failure. So for people who do not have kidney issues and do not have problems with potassium, then you don't have to worry about it at all. You can just hypernourish using your favorites. But yes, for people who have problems with potassium, people who have kidney failure, I've worked with people whose I've seen kidneys as low as 5%. So yes, I adjust the protocol for those people, and it doesn't include the high potassium foods like avocados. Yeah. Gary, what's the deal with oxalates? I've had ongoing sciatic pain. I wonder if the smoothies are the culprit. Unlikely. So oxalates, I've done a lot of teaching and trying to correct mythology around. Most people will not have an issue caused by oxalates. There are oxalates in high nutrient foods, especially foods like spinach, but that's okay. For most of us, especially if you're eating an alkaline diet, which all my protocols are alkaline, and you're hydrated, which if you're on my protocol, you're hydrated, you're actually going to reduce the risk of things like stones. So that doesn't usually cause sciatica. Sciatica is irritation of your sciatic nerve. And the most common cause of sciatic nerve irritation is going to be muscular impingement or something to do with spinal impingement, right, of the roots of it. So what you really need to do is get some physical therapy and probably some help with foam rolling out, things like your glutes and your hips, so that you can release that nerve and whatever's impinging on it. It's very painful, so you definitely want to get that looked at. All right, let me see here on Instagram. We have a little more time here. All right, so Wilkins99 says, hi, Dr. G, thanks for everything you do. You're welcome. Everything I've read and I've been told by my cardiologist that my extremely high level of LPA is not lifestyle and requires medication to lower it. Actually, studies have shown that LPA can be lowered by lifestyle and medication. There's varying estimates. Some say lifestyle can handle 30% of it, some more. So you can absolutely improve your cardiac health, lower cholesterol, including LPA, using lifestyle. Whether that's enough to get you where you need to be for whatever's going on with you cardiovascularly, I haven't seen you. I don't know the answer to that, whether medications make sense for you or not, but definitely lifestyle has a major impact on it. All right, let's see what else people are asking. Oh, Diana Bananas says she's having a spinach salad for the 4th Thanksgiving in a row. And it doesn't even have to be just salad, right? That's great, by the way, and thank you for sharing that. It really can be that easy. But I remember going to a Thanksgiving back in the day before my husband was plant-based and vegan. You know, when he was still eating meat, I was going to Thanksgivings that had meat on the table and all the other stuff and just bringing my own food because I was the weird one. And I made really nice food for myself. My kale salad with my Caesar dressing, which I love, my main course, my dessert. I had a raw cheesecake. I made this gorgeous display of food. And I know to make a lot because guess what? Everyone's curious about the vegan stuff, right? So you make it for yourself and then everyone's carving into it. So I make a lot. And my dessert was gone first, by the way. They're like, this dessert's the best one. I'm like, this is my raw food. But I would make it really nice. So I actually felt like I was having a beautiful, lavish, wonderful meal that was visually appealing and made me feel good. While all their stuff was different shades of brown, really. It's a lot of brown on Thanksgiving. And so that's one way to do it versus now we host and it's plant-based and it's lovely. And, you know, there was a while when we lived in California where we just skipped Thanksgiving meal because we lived near the animal sanctuary. So there was one, I don't know if they still do it because it changed. It was Animal Acres. And then Animal Acres was taken over by another sanctuary that's more famous. And I'm blanking on the name. I'll think of it in a second. But they actually would have a Feed the Animals Thanksgiving. And so you would go and you would feed the turkeys, like cranberries and stuff like that. And so it was a fun alternative to do on Thanksgiving. So there's just so many ways that you can have fun on the holidays without eating the bad stuff. Oh, Roberto, great idea. Work out daily, a habit, especially during the holidays. Very, very important thing to do. You get the endorphins that make you want to resist the food. And if you do eat something recreational, you can prevent some of that weight gain It's a very good idea. Let's see. Oh, so B.L. Matthews wrote, people in general have the attitude of eat and drink today, for tomorrow we may die. Such a twisted relationship with food and alcohol to have the power to make us happy. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like something you say before you go into battle, right? That's what you say when you're about to get into a bloody battle and you don't know if you're going to get killed. That's when you say that, right? But for those of us who want to live to 110, that's not the way to go. It reminds me very much of my grandfather, not on my dad's side. So my dad's dad, he was an addict. He drank too much every day. He smoked cigarettes. He ate beef and all of the junk. And he died from his 8th heart attack at 58 years old. And the doctors kept telling him, you got to stop drinking. You got to stop smoking. You got to cut back on the saturated fat. They didn't know what I know about diet, but they still were trying. He wouldn't do it. And I remember getting emotional with him. I was 12 years old and he's smoking. And I learned in school about how smoking causes heart attacks. And I remember telling him, like, Grandpa, why don't you stop smoking? Like, this could give you another heart attack and then you could die. And he patted me on the head and he said, Brooke, I got to live my life the way I want to. I live it my way. And he died at 58 years old from his 8th heart attack. He had just had his 7th. He was in the hospital. My mom took him home from the hospital and tucked him in. His wife was out for a little bit. My grandmother was out. She was on her way back. And he said, I'm good. I'm set. I'm snuggled up in my chair. I'm ready to go. And he was gone. My grandmother found him still holding the cigarette between his fingers. He was gone so quickly. But he said something like that. I want to live my life my way. Well, guess what it was? A lot of hospital visits and dead at 58. Didn't have to be that way. So we are now at a time where we can live longer and we can live better. And I don't want to live sick. I want to live healthy. So the choices we make have an extraordinary impact on that. So it's not like tomorrow we may die. No, tomorrow we might end up on more medication and need more surgery. And that's what the reality is nowadays, right? Is that people are living longer but sicker. So, but I totally get what you're saying. It's kind of this hedonistic feeling of, yeah, I don't want to miss out. I want to have fun. I do too. I want to have fun this year, next year, the year after, 20 years from now. I want to keep having fun. And it's not worth it to me to clog up my arteries and to make myself sick and to activate autoimmune diseases that can take me out for a day of hedonistic eating. And the thing is, it's not just the damage you do on that one day, because once you eat all those things, especially if you've been eating clean and your cravings have come down and you've been doing well, it can cause all the food addictions to come back and set you backwards, not just in your health, but in all of your cravings too. So yeah, it is. You're totally right, B.L. Matthews. We really have to work on changing this whole idea of living like we're about to head into war tomorrow versus living like we're going to live another 20, 30 years, right? My favorite clients, I actually just saw someone today who's 80. And my favorite, I love all of you, but working with people in their 80s and 90s who want to go on my full Goodbye Lupus protocol because they're enjoying their life so much that they want to be as healthy as possible. I love those folks. I mean, I've helped so many of them now get their kidney function back to normal, blood pressure down, their cholesterol's down. They're out there riding their bicycles, gardening, playing cards with their friends, living at this high level. And it just gives me so much joy because most of the people I see who are in their 60s and 70s are already hitting into disability. And when I get to meet people who are, I asked someone, she was 87 and she wanted me to help her with her blood pressure and kidney function. I said, why do you want to see me? She goes, because I'm not done yet. I like my life. I want to eat salad if that's what I got to eat, but I want to love my life. So if you can have that realization sooner, that's even better. So she's doing great, by the way. She's doing really great. Aw, thanks, Lorraine. Let me see here. Oh, Diana was saying, I don't miss the 3-day-a-week needle. I don't miss trying to remember to take my meds. And where I forgot, I'll eat my greens and berries. Thanks. Yeah, that's the real missing out. Exactly right. Oh, Tita Teresa says, thanks for the encouragement. This is my first Thanksgiving as a vegan. it's okay. It's okay. And depending on where you are with your health, there's so many different options. If you're trying to reverse disease, you're going to do the raw foods and you're going to enjoy that Thanksgiving while getting healthier. If you're in remission and you can eat the other stuff, oh my God, it is so easy to make all the Thanksgiving sides in a vegan way that's healthier and still delicious. Like, you can totally do it. It's going to be good. It's going to be great. All right. Sarah Kaskine, what would you recommend for atopic dermatitis? You should totally try my protocol and see if you can get that inflammation down. Whether you do hypernourishment on a plant-based diet or go full into something like the Goodbye Lupus protocol, it really can help. Zosie, will it help with diverticulitis? So yeah, so the diverticulosis, those kind of misshapen areas, we won't progress them, and they will be there, but preventing the inflammation part, absolutely, it can help with that. All right. Sanchita, Dr. Gold, I need to join the rapid recovery group ASAP. Let me know how I'm desperate. Okay. All right. So I just said how, but let me show it so that I don't want anyone to miss it. Okay. Hold on a second. Let me share my screen. Okay. One moment, please, while I process your request. Here we go. All right. There should be a link. If you go on my profile, there's a link with the links to all my different things, including the group. But if you go to goodbyelupus.com and you go to 6-week rapid recovery group, and there it's right there. And then you click enroll now, and then it'll take you to a page where you can enroll on my site. So that's the group and that's the private. So goodbyelupus.com has that. Okay. So if that's what you're looking for, then that's where it is. Okay. And it's also a place for people who want to work with me. I donate my time as much as I can to the public. And I know some of you really need me to help you. And that's what I do with the rest of my time. And it's my favorite thing. So I'm always happy to help as much as I can. Let me see here. Kiwi on a hill. Will juicing veggies instead of smoothies also work for hypernourishing? Nope. That is not hypernourishing. Hypernourishment is whole foods. So if you take all the ingredients and you put them in a blender and then you drink them, you are getting the whole food, right? If you juice them, now you're leaving all the food behind. You're just getting the water out of it. So absolutely not. That's not hypernourishing anymore. All right, let me see here. All right. Zelly wants to know, if my source of calcium is strictly from a pound of spinach every day, chia and flax seeds, am I likely to have deficient in calcium? Not necessarily. There's a quick way to find out, and that would be a blood test. You can check your calcium levels. So there is a lot of calcium in spinach. Spinach is high in many nutrients. As I said, spinach is one of the most nutrient-dense foods there is. It is higher in iron than calcium, and calcium and iron do compete for absorption. So if you're getting a lot of it, you're probably getting enough of both, but you can check that really quickly. Kale, for example, is much higher in calcium. So is broccoli, much higher in calcium than iron. So you'll absorb more of the calcium out of that meal and less of the iron. So again, if you're having a lot of those foods, you should be fine across the board, but that's a quick way to check it. All right, let's see here. I appreciate all of your hellos. All right. Val, you're in a good place. Says, weirdly enough, I'm not feeling like I need to eat the other stuff. You're in the right place. This is good. It's happening, Val. You're turning into the person who doesn't want it anymore. And all the rest of you, it's real. That happens. You will turn into the person who doesn't want it anymore. That is it is an important thing to know that it does not stay that way. It does not stay that way with the FOMO. You actually start to like how you eat better. Okay. Let's see. All right. Oh, that's somebody answering somebody else here. Or maybe not. Okay. It says, I have for Linda, it says, I have hyperthyroidism. It's not autoimmune. There are no antibodies. I seem to have been triggered by stress, overexertion, and coming off doxycycline. I'm a spin instructor, Pilates coach. And while I'm not teaching 18 classes a day anymore, I still live a very active lifestyle. I was wondering if your smoothie protocol could help rebalance thyroid function in a case like mine where it's not autoimmune, and I feel like I need to add animal protein. Yes, it can help your thyroid function better. And no, you don't want to eat animal products because that will make all of this worse. So you can be super active and eat this way, and you're going to improve your health and improve your thyroid function, and then work on the stress part. So obviously exercise is not enough for you to work on whatever this other stress has been, and self-care is going to be the key. I can't give more detail without knowing more detail, but that's where I'd start you. All right, let's see here. Oh, it's time. Oh my goodness. That hour went by really fast, didn't it? I was on TV today with Maggie, so I'm going to get that clip when they have it and share it with all of you. In the meantime, though, remember what I said. You're not missing out because you're not eating the junk. You're missing out because you do, right? So really let yourself have this. Let yourself fantasize about the things you really want to do. Go out there and have fun that has nothing to do with food, so that this becomes a time of your life where you become the happiest and most fulfilled, instead of feeling like instead you're missing out for some reason because you're not eating the turkey. You're not. Nobody even likes the turkey. They all say it's dry anyway. I hope that helps all of you. I will see you back next week. Love to all of you. Have a great rest of your week.